Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Sorry. When I reset everything, I may have unfortunately cut the power to the camera, which caused everything to desync, and that's why we didn't have a camera on the entire time. That's on me, my bad. We got our first win in the sealed deck, and the key to it was just switching up to 17 creatures. By doing that, we were able to accomplish quite a bit. We've been moving down this green pathway here, so let's keep it going full steam. All right. Claiming it. Going back to the event. Now that we have a deck that we think works, like I said before, what we did here was remove 2 spells and turn them into some bodies that exist in the middle of the format. So now we can actually go from a 2 curve to a 3 to a 4 to a 5. Like we can kind of just keep moving up. We did keep the Rabid Bites. We added a Magmatic Chasm, and we removed the 2 aim highs, figuring a board, something like a Galvanic Bombardment is cheaper and more likely to be cast than the +2/+2 untapped Trick. I just don't think that Trick pays off too often. Everything else looks really good, though. So we're going to say done, and we're going to say play. And now we are curving much better from the 2 slot up into the 5s and 6s. And I think what was happening was our 2 mana creatures were just getting slaughtered by the 3 and 4 mana creatures. And we didn't have any way to sort of keep our presence on the board. So by the time the big guy came out, it was too late. There's one of the bigger creatures, and there's a 2-drop. We have 2 mana, and so we're going to call this a curve, with the idea being that more mana is to come. Like I said, more mana is to come. Yeah, we're good. Yep. I've no problems trading a 1-for-1 here for a while. What do you say we get rid of you? And then we go for it, because we can't block that guy without losing it anyway. Ouch, right? Gotta go. I think we're dead already, by the way. I don't see a way around this thing. He'll be swinging for 4. We'll be swinging for 3. Dead on the first strike there. That doesn't work. I guess we're throwing the Mad Prophet in hopes of getting a block. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do. We don't have an answer for this, and he's just going to destroy us so much faster than... I mean, I don't even have a body that could catch it at this point. Like... There's just nothing. And the 5/3 reach is not enough to withstand a double hit from a 2/2, and trust me, more than a 2/2 is hitting the deck there. That enchantment is pretty solid when it comes down on time on turn 3 or 4. Not much I can do. All right, we have a 2-drop. We've got a spell. We've got the mana. Let's go. We even have something to do on turn 1. I dig it. Maybe our best one yet. Cool. Let's go. A sorcery will be in there. We could be getting rid of a land and an instant. No, a sorcery would already be in there. Huh. I don't want to do that. Alright. I hate to do it, but it's just so far away. And we're almost there. already with this creature. So that gives us a land, a creature, and some stuff to do. Okay. Yeah, I think so, right? Why not? We can't let that thing hit us. It's gonna get a +1 every time it does, and then he can put something like this on it too. So he ends up getting like a swing for 7 or 8 on the next turn. It's just too much. That I can live with. If he puts the graph on it, it's a problem, right? So then the question is there any reason not to? Alright, so Conduit of Storms comes out next. He's got something in his like up his sleeve. I don't know what it is, but I wouldn't mind one more land. It's very interesting. He doesn't come out with flash, but he would give a 4/4 to it, which would make that thing a 6/7. And so I think you go for it, right? It's frustrating. I don't have the capability of killing it. This is just to scare him. He might let it go because he knows anything will work, but I don't think he would. A galvanic bombardment would kill his little scarecrow. Good on you. It's fine. We can just sit back and build a board state until we can get around it. Just one instant. I just want to cast in... Well, wait a minute. What do I have in here? Sorceries. Yeah, I just want to cast an instant spell. I should have attacked with the whelp. I'm worried about a flash vampire to hit the deck. Then he just double blocks and the whelp is toast. So, like, I don't think this card's in there for no reason. Right? I think they all have to go. Because if his Gorgeous is going in, he's just going to get destroyed either way. So we might as well make it worth something. An instant spell would be amazing at this point right now. Yeah, that changes the equation a lot. I think Gorgeous is just dead now. Yeah. There's just nothing I can do. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. I don't know why we're standing here staring at each other. Just one removal spell. Just one removal spell. Just one removal spell. Oh, I have an idea. What if I drew a removal spell? I'm just going to concede. This is dumb. This guy's just going to sit here and, like, it's not going anywhere. It doesn't pay to bang our head against brick walls. Let's do it. Yeah. I'll take it. Yeah, unfortunately, like, my only creature can't block. I think we just can see we're handled again. We're handled every game. Handled before we can even play our second or third card. I think that red and green is really, really bad as far as colors are concerned. I think that it's something to learn is that if you're in werewolves, you're kind of toast. I don't think you have much chance at winning anything in the werewolf side of the equation. This happens a lot too. I see a lot of like, we're on the board first, like every time. Oh, they get to go first. They're on the board first. They're on the oh, they got a death toucher. Like every time. Every time. He's just going to blow up his stupid thing and kill my creature, because that's what they do in this game. They don't let you have any creatures. Didn't see that coming. I had no idea. Alright, so we'll throw another creature, but we're going to throw another poopy creature and try to hold on to our better creatures in hopes that as we curve down and we curve out, we end up with something better. There was no priority hold, which is good. If we were to cast Rabid Bite and come on, use all these cards. Take it all back. I want to take it all back. I just messed everything up. I forgot he's the mana dork that's letting that happen. I forgot. We have 5 mana again. All right. I don't think he actually attacks with the Paladin, and we're going to use a removal spell on it and bring in the 2/4/4 bodies. We may lose somebody, but I think it's probably worth a try. We'll see. Transform. Let's go with you. We'll go with yeah, we'll go with you. That's fine. Oh yeah, that's right. Sure. Yeah. I thought I said yes to that like before. I don't know why I had to stare at that for so long. That's my bad. I haven't transformed him. Ready? A pain land. Actually, it's funny. I have really come to appreciate these cards. I think that they are a super important part of how you make a deck go from being good to great. And the answer is just always having the mana available. And pain lands are the most consistent way to do it. I wouldn't say it's like the best way to do it. But putting a pain land always means that it's landing ready to go. Not this, +2, -2 kind of stuff. Okay. We need green land. But at least we have a 2-drop. We need a green land. Sure. It's a pain in the ass. You know I know? Because I got one too. No. We need a green land or nothing we can do. There's nothing I can do with that. We need a green land. We need a green land. We've drawn 10. We've drawn a quarter of our cards. So 25% chance to have seen anything in the deck. And so far, about 1 out of 3 cards left over are green lands. Don't expect us to get any. Yes. I think we get rid of this. Nothing we can do. I need a green land. 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 Okay, I quit. You give me nothing but green cards and no green lands. Like, that's exactly why the pain land was such a good thing to get. Because if we build a deck in Constructed, we can prevent that from happening. But in this limited format, where they don't give us access to the dual-colored lands or the pain lands or any of that stuff, we just get stuck, and we get stuck quite often. I mean, that was over 30% of our cards, and not one green land. And I blame the hand smoother most of the time, because it seems like the hand smoother tries to give you a bunch of mana on one side, and then a bunch of cards that are on the other. And it's like, dude, why do you do that? Alright, gonna hit the deck on turn 1. We have a 3, like a damage spell here, which I would rather use to help enable somebody to get through the front line. But we'll see. You can get 2 cute by half. These 2 humans have more synergy. This wolf really wants another wolf on the deck. So we'll hold on to it if we can. So typically in a sealed deck, I would go back and I would re-examine what I have in hopes of finding a card that I think changes, you know, maybe like 2 or 3 cards that kind of change how this thing flows out, because there's clearly huge problems with the deck creation that we've got right now. And I think it's in that 2 mana slot not having a lot of synergy between the cards. So you're just constantly, oh, that's actually really, really good for us. I think we just do this. Plop that onto here. And go with next, attack, go. And now our mana dork can take out that scribe, or it can drop some damage. It's got a lot more opportunity to affect the board. Manic Scribe says, at the beginning of each upkeep, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, that player mills 3 cards. So if I can get to Delirium, I can do better. That's fine. I think we just put this guy out here instead. A lot of people do control, like a lot of bouncing, a lot of cancel that spell kind of stuff. Oh, green land. You know, I didn't think it was going to happen, but it did. And we're so happy. I think we just get rid of this thing, right? Yeah. Alright, creature cards, land cards, sorcery card, and you just need an instant, and we'll be good to go. Part of me wants to just attack with everybody. And then maybe throw... We're so close. We don't need the blocker. That was actually sweet, because that was one of our least good cards, and Mr. Controller over here convoluted the heck out of that thing, which we like. Plus he took some damage, right? So we ain't sweating this. Let's see. Convolute was a 3 mana spell, and so only when we know he's down to 3 mana, right? Oh, I like this. We could have put out the big guy. It would have been relatively safe to do. I was a little worried about one of these bounce back spells, because these things have flashback. But they have flashback with, red mana. That's funny. He knew. I was just thinking we were safe. Return target creature to its hand, and return target creature or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So he can pull that out with 3, and then have 4 left over, which is plenty to cast that. So he can cancel he could cancel almost any card that we had. I just want a fight spell. No. It's alright. Yeah, that's good. He pulled a Nahiri and decided, jeez. I think we won. Yeah. Yeah, we just got him too low. And man, that Graf Widow not once got played. Not once. And it was in our hand quite a few times. So to give you an idea of how difficult this format is. Sheoldred's Head Cleaver actually makes that card look so much better. So I'll take it. Um, whew. We did it. Just to reiterate, this was our pool and this was our deck. It was serviceable if we really were judicious, meaning like very slow about how we played our cards. Because we didn't have the card draw in our hand, we really needed to get the most amount of value out of each creature that was on the deck. And then we had to pick our times because we went up against blue-white control with some spirits. A lot. I think 4 of our matches were against blue-white control. You know, control means like they don't necessarily put creatures on the board, but they keep you from being able to get your creatures on the board. So then they just need one bomb, like a Nahiri as an example, that, you know, kind of cleans it all up. If we were to look at other decks, this is the blue stuff, and you can see there's like some of the, you know, -4, -0, and then you get a chance to draw another card for another 2. Here's another investigate. We had some spirits, defenders, flying spirits, and investigators. So there was a blue spirit deck available, as well as a few more spirits in white up here. The Lifelinker, the Delirious Angel, the Geist. These all, we could have done a white-blue deck. We would have really lacked a lot of power, but we could have done it. Black-green was another option I thought about, and just kind of looking at having some stronger creatures that could come out. You know, 3/3 that doesn't have the whole block issue. Was one of the things that I considered. We needed the green, and then we could have just splashed the red instead of leaning into the red. Magmatic Chasm didn't play out very well. Galvanic Bombardment and Incendiary Flow both played out just fine. This creature, though, not that good. I really could have lived without the Ember-Eyed Wolf. The Deranged Whelp was very good, though. The Conduit of Storms was not very good. So, you know, we had 2 Deranged Whelps and a Faithless Looting, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 total cards that had any value at all. In red, I'm pretty sure I could have done green in another color. Almost wonder about green-blue with a splash of red, and maybe we keep the whelps in there, since the blue was lacking on so much of the stuff. Let's do it. Let's just take a look and see. I think it's an interesting thing to do. Okay, so if we were going to stay like that, and then we were going to just basically take all of our blue cards and plop them into the deck, how close did we get? We got to 38. That's not bad. Spirit, blop, bop, 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 bop. Return a creature to its own hand. Also another control-y kind of thing. Fogwalker is an annoying creature that hits the deck. Ongoing Investigation is really good whenever one of our creatures deals combat damage. So you just keep getting that card draw piece. Take Inventory is another card draw piece. And then we've got a flyer who can only block flyers. We have a better flyer over here. Nice flash flying 3/3 flyer. Can be really good at getting rid of one of their 2/2s. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you get to scry with this defender. So good way to slow down the game. Going back to green, we did have that other human up there. And we did have interesting. We could have done the white 1/1. I didn't think about that. So this was the other way to make the deck, in which case we would take this down to like 2, and then go to land and bring you up to 6. Kind of like 7/7/2. I think that's better. So we need to draw, which means that these whelps are a real scary kind of piece, except for the fact that like we still have some things we can do that allow all this stuff to play out and do all right. So I actually like our 2-drops a lot more now than I did before. We've got a flyer. We've got kind of like a way to sneak in a little bit of damage, I guess. More of like a tapper on entry, but it's just something to do at this point. I would almost consider taking the Fogwalker out and dropping in like another mountain. Yeah. That gets the whelps on the board faster. I like that better. So, if I had to redo the deck, I would make it a blue-green deck with the idea that we were going to do something more down here. We're keeping 2 of the 4 best cards out of there, so we're doing all right. Discard the changes, though. It's fine. We're done. We're not doing that anymore. We were able to accomplish our daily quest, which is good. We weren't able to get 3 wins. Took us about 10 games to do that, but we were able to accomplish that. And then I got a little confession to make. I noticed that because of the reset and the update, they gave everybody play-in points for the jump-ins, and I used it. I thought I was on the other account, but I was on this account. I was able to pick up an extra Haughty Djinn along the way, and that got me thinking of, and then we also picked up, I think, a Hullbreaker Horror. Maybe we didn't, but we picked up like this Fairy Vandal. We picked up a Ledger Shredder as well. And so I started looking at this thinking like, we've got kind of some interesting synergies happening in the artifact and the blue world, and in the spells and in the blue world. And I knew that we had some artifacts that we liked in red as one of our strengths as well. So what I did was I said, like, what could we do to pay all this stuff off? The Retrofitter is interesting because it takes an artifact and turns it into a 4/4 creature. And this thing says create an artifact. It's also a treasure, but create an artifact anytime any creature does damage to a player. So you get some really nice kind of ways to open up the Retrofitter. I did throw an artifact down here as a way to go, and then these are artifact creatures. So we do have other artifacts to go with. This thing can also turn any creature into a 5/5 one-shot. This thing can bounce one of our creatures and give it a +1 on its way back in the door. The Mercurial Spell Dancer helps us double spells, and that goes really, really good with some of these spells that proliferate. The Ledger Shredder says that when you cast your second spell, it draws a card and grows. And the Fairy Vandal says that when you draw your second card, it grows. So if you can get both of these guys on the board, and then you can start casting some cheaper spells, like the Witness Protection as a removal spell on them, the Rabid Battery as a way to get out, an artifact that we might need later, you can really start to pump both of these creatures up and turn them into game winners. If we can't, though, we have this Unctus Grand Metatech, and the reason why this card goes so well in this deck, and it makes me want to actually craft some Fairy Vandals because I feel like there's such a good future for this card, is that this says anytime a blue creature taps, you get to draw a card and then discard a card. And every time that card draws, like the first time that happens on each turn, you're going to get an opportunity to be over here and put a +1 on the Fairy Vandal. So the Metatech and the Fairy Vandal just pump the board really, really well. The Haughty Djinn and the Ledger Shredder both get pumped by casting spells, because that's how you get some things on there. And then the Haughty Djinn takes all these spells that you see over here and turns them into 1-mana spells. The other aspect of this is the Mercurial Spell Dancer can double those spells as well. So we were looking for a certain amount of non-creature instant and sorcery like speed spells. I can talk. In order to load the deck up for the Haughty Djinn, load the deck up for load the card draw up for the ability to continue to cast, and then these top end threats right here, they all kind of play together. They all kind of work in ways to say, like, the Facebreaker will allow us to get to the Hullbreaker Horror much, much quicker. The Forge will allow us to keep pressure on them, since we've got kind of these weakly guys that need a chance to survive a little bit longer before they can go in there for like those kind of massive attacks. I have Malcator as another one where it says you need an artifact to enter, and then again the Professional Facebreaker makes an artifact that enters. So that happens after, so that's not going to trigger this quite as often. And it's one of the cards that I look at and say, like, well, what are my triggers for the Eye of Malcator? And there's not as many as I think, going back and looking through all of this. So if that's the case, maybe we should turn this Eye of Malcator into a Fairy Vandal. Yeah, that's right. I spent a common or an uncommon. We're down to 29. That's okay. All right. So there you go. That gives you an idea of the thinking in the deck, right? We've got top end game breaker. We've got aggro spell board pump with some flyers. One, two, three, like 6 flyers that can pump themselves. One guy who sits back can help make them all pump each other as well. We've got another creature that can jump in. We've got something that hands out a +1 in haste, a removal spell, a bounce spell that with the ability to proliferate, a startle spell, which is a bit like a removal spell, like it removes an attack and creates a 2/2 on the way back, a sneak attack spell. They could maybe make 2 of our guys that are coming in that look like 1/1s into 5/5s, which would be really fun. Planner Incision, which helps us kind of pump one of our guys if we can double spell in the beginning. We dig it. Let's give it a shot and see. I think I've used the deck once and I liked it. It's got just enough control to creature. The creature count is a little low on it, but it's got just enough to make this make sense. We're going to keep begrudgingly, and this is the only reason why we're going to keep. I think we're dead already. Not going to lie. Yep, I'm pretty sure we're dead. Yeah, I knew it. We did. It happens. I mean, they have the perfect curve and we had none. Like, it happens. I shouldn't have kept it. I thought about it, but we had the 2 slowest lands and the 4 slowest cards in the deck. Then we went up against mono red. Almost the same thing, except we've got an abrade or 2 that will help us remove. We need 1 more land to get to the forge, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to be toxic. You're not going to like me, team. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't think there's anything here that witness protection would play out very well, and I don't think I would blow an abrade on it either. So, since we have nothing to do, probably get rid of the planner incision and this. I don't trust anything with blue in it that doesn't spend its mana. Especially like with a forge, right? Because that's just going to get countered for sure. Yeah. We are A-okay with that. There you go, buddy. I'm a little less worried about them being some kind of counter magic sort of constant regime that comes my way. I know it seems strange, by the way. That's funny. he can't attack with the Necro Disruptor yet, and he's going to have some pretty nasty tricks on the ninja side of things. So one of the ways to stop a ninja deck is to always have a blocker. He's got something. I would much rather get the Legislator out, and I could have done it the other way, but let's see what this one's going to do. Oh man, I have a problem. All attack. If it's not counter magic, I'm not sure what it is. I do think we have a decent amount of rares in this deck. There's the counter magic. To prevent 2 damage. Not the play. Get more out of your Fading Hope. Like, get an opportunity to attack. Okay. I think we're good, right? Target creature you don't control get -2 till the end of the turn. That's just great. Absolutely wonderful. Let's go! Yeah, yeah. Attack! Battle Razis. $6.30. If one or fewer cards in hand, you get to draw 4. Otherwise, you get to scry 2 and then draw 2, which is pretty cool. 2 tops? Oh no. So that means that he liked both of those cards so much that he didn't want to even look for anything else. And that is always bad. On the positive side of things, we've clearly been able to... Oh man, we messed up. I was worried about that. I was worried about that. Let's go this way. And let's... Can we stop? Thank you. We're going to all attack. I just wish this guy didn't have an instant in his hand because he just sits there looking at it going, do I play it? I don't know, man. Alright, Treasure City. Okay. We'll just say next. That's fine. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough instant or sorcery cards in the graveyard to make the Haughty Djinn pay off. And I do think that it's worth casting this. And then throwing both of these at the same time. But oh, it's equal to the number of cards in his hand. So if he plays one card, it goes down to a 3/3. Yeah, I think that's the play, right? Haughty Djinn goes out. Abrades go down to a single pip. I spend the treasure to get rid of the vision of the unspeakable. Deal 3 to that. Legislator gets the ledge. Come on, conniver. Interesting. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, I know. -2 is across the board. Like, I know how this works. Dude, he's back to the top again. This controlling controller who controls control. Oh my god. Never ending control. He does a lot of thinking. Thanks, bud. Appreciate you. So, things I wish I'd have done different. Hold on to the retrofitter and played this instead. 3 mana, 3 mana. If I'd have done that, I could have utilized this treasure token to be the 4/4 instead of the forge, allowing a lot more positive push along the way. So the reason we stalled out so much was the forge play. Unfortunately, didn't go our way, but we got the win. It's a cool deck. It was definitely a control deck that we went up against. We've got 10 minutes. I don't think that there's a lot in the next 10 minutes that I want to do, but we do have the gold to do the this kind of deal. So again, this was the one that I got last time. I was able to pick up another War Plow, which is okay. Frost Rider is actually pretty fun to use in this deck, and the Haughty Djinn was the one that kind of inspired. Oh, I did a Gix Yamath Praetor, which is just an all-around great card. It has the ability to overtake the game, discard X cards from your hand, and then you can play lands and spell cards from among the cards exiled without playing their mana costs. So if you have 4 or 5 cards in your hand, you can discard the 5 cards for the 7 mana, get a whole new set, and then just play them as if they don't cost anything whatsoever. It's a great way of taking 7 mana and turning it into a remarkably good deal. It does require, though, certain amount of card draw that would allow you to bounce back up. This Djinn of the Fountain, by the way, was better than I expected to be. Every time being able to put a +1 on something, or getting a chance to scry, or getting a chance to kind of save it, so to speak. So like if it was being like the cause of a spell, I could cast like an impulse, and then I could bounce this as well. And it was like, wow, suddenly being able to bounce and save my creatures on instant spells seems really, really powerful. So anyway, I was actually a little bit more impressed than I expected to be. With that being said, we're just going to go back and do another one of these and take a look at what we get. Modified, which is the Inchblade Companion. Mechs, which is the gold mech that flies and copies whatever does it, if I'm not mistaken. The Mindlink mech is a 3-mana, 4/3 flyer vehicle that basically turns into a copy of all of the, where is it again? Mechs. Mindlink becomes a copy of the target non-legendary creature that crewed it, except it's also 4/3. It's a vehicle artifact in addition to all the other things, and it has flying. So it doesn't lose any of its 4/3 stats. It just gains whatever the, when this attacks stats kind of deal. So it can be really, really fun. But it only happens the first time it gets crewed. So you'd really want, if this is down at 3 mana, you'd really want something that was at maybe 4 mana for this to crew. That way, like, you could copy them go up in what you're copying, not go down to like a 2 mana kind of feature. Modified is the Inchblade Companion, which leaves behind a copy of itself. And then the Sanctuary Warden, which is a better card than anything that we see here. And then Double Trouble is the Creepy Puppeteer, which I mean, there are some places to make Double Trouble work, but for the most part, it's a card draw kind of trick that I just don't think pays out too well. We're going to take mechs. I have a feeling that there's a mech deck coming our way, and we do have a Planeswalker that likes mechs, and so we do have some reasons to get involved in blue, and we've been kind of collecting some pretty decent blue, I should say uncommon like creatures that have to do with things that we would definitely like on all of our cards, like Connive and stuff like that. Minions, Vitality, and Inspired. So not ones that we've seen too often. Inspired is the Gixian Puppeteer or the Blade Coil Serpent. Blade Coil Serpent is based on the type of mana that you cast. Like if you have cast with 2 reds, you're going to be able to get a chance to get a +1 and gain trample and haste until the end of the turn. If you do 2 blacks, your opponent has to discard a card. If you do 2 blues, you get to draw a card. And so you can kind of mix it up into 3 different colors of decks and still end up picking up quite a bit of value out of the Blade Coil Serpent. The Gixian Puppeteer, whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So it's a cool creature. It's a 4/3 creature, and it would go really, really good if we wanted to do a blue-black deck with the stuff that we just did with the Haughty Djinn. We could do a bunch of card draw spells, the Fairy Vandal, and then the Conniving with the other creature. We would just be able to get a lot of chances to pump two health against them, or 2 down on them, 2 up on us. So I do like Inspired. And then Vitality is a life-gaining sucker. I don't remember what it is, though. Sun's Intervention, or Champions of Tyr. Sun's Intervention is kind of a neat card. It creates 2 2/2s. It also can help you find a non-land permanent card with a mana value of 3 or less. You can destroy an artifact, you can destroy an enchantment, and you get to gain 3 life. It costs 6 mana to do, so it does a lot of the little things that you'd hope to happen around turn 3, but it does them all at turn 6. This one, I think, works better. This one's kind of cool too, though. You also get when it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card and then discard a card. And as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards, you also get +1 and have menace on this creature. So again, the black-blue Fairy Vandal world is pretty neat. I think I like it. So let's see what they gave us. An enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you can pay 3, and if you do, you tap an enchanted permanent, and it doesn't untap during its untap step. So if you drop this onto something that's already tapped, you're fine. If you drop it onto something that's not tapped, it just won't untap the next time it taps. So it still gets a free attack at you. We just went over this card. a defender 3/3 is pretty cool. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, it can attack that turn as if it didn't have defender. So another way to kind of utilize the enchantment over there. A flash enchantment. As long as an enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets -3 and loses flying. So a good way to handle that. We've talked about our mobilizer. Oh, we've talked about the other mech, actually. This one will crew one other vehicle as well as this, and it has flying. So we wouldn't want it to crew up. What? A Surge Hack mech? We got a new mech? It's in there. Boy, the chances of getting this guy were super low. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to twice the number of vehicles you control to a target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Wow. A 5-mana 5/5 with a 4 crew that delivers a 2 or a 3-mana fireball. Dang. Where's the Gix thing? I'm missing something. Oh, right there. I love the Gurgling Anointer. When you draw your second card each turn, you get to put a +1 on the Gurgling Anointer. This is another like Fairy Vandal, but it also has the when it dies, you get to return a target creature with mana value less than or equal to its power from your graveyard directly back to the battlefield. So the Gurgling Anointer can kind of pump up to like 3, then gets killed, and then boom, brings back your Evangel Synthesis, or can bring back like the Spy over here. So the Gurgling Anointer is excellent. This little guy is kind of weird too. A flying 1/4 that scries once, or scries like for 1 when it becomes tapped. Kind of strange, just in general. Strange looking card too. Not a huge fan. 643 though, guys. We got time for one game. We're gonna sneak one in there. We shouldn't, but we're going to anyway. Dang. Okay. It's only 4 mana? I thought it was 5. Man, things are getting better. Cool. There you go. You're not untapping. It's fine. I would rather put that on that, huh? Yeah. more mana, please. One more mana, please. I could do the Surge Hacker on the next mana. I think it's crew 3. It's crew 4. Nope. Oh yeah, I can. And then I can double crew to take it out. So, I think that's what we do. It doesn't matter. It's either eat 8 or do that. I hate the whole, like, I'll give you the perfect answer to everything. I mean, granted, I gotta expect to remove a spell occasionally, but, like, come on. I think we just prevent the 4 damage. The card draw is not doing us any good at this point. It's fine. Unfortunately, I can't do much here. I think that's game, and I am late, unfortunately. So, you have 661. Those hit no blocks. Yay! Yeah, I know. How mesmerizing dose works. Everything got removed, so nothing I can